Evening, folks. Welcome back to Galore's Wargaming. We're going to take a real quick look here at the progress on the Warhammer list building app that I'm working on. I know that Battlescribe has got 10th edition data now. There's the new one out from Games Workshop. But I'm continuing on with this one for a couple of reasons. One is I'm really not sure that Battlescribe is going to be with us through the entirety of the edition, given the interactions between the data community and developer, or rather the lack of interaction. I don't know at what point it might become not viable again, or they might just give up on it. And as for the Warhammer one, the Warhammer Community one, I like it. It's pretty good, but it does have a few flaws. For one thing, I do not like that when you add units, you then have to go in and adjust the war gear, and there can be situations where getting the war gear right for the number of models can actually be a giant pain, such as with like Chaos Chosen, especially when it still had when it was still pre-errata. But also that one is paywalled, and that's probably not going to change. So I'm continuing on with this. I don't know that this will, again, I don't know if this will ever be a paid army list builder, but I might if I really get it improved to the level where I would feel comfortable, trying to actually sell it, not just seeming like a greedy fool. Because it's not anywhere close to that. I would not even classify it as an alpha version yet, but it is getting close to what I would classify as an alpha version for an amateur programmer. So let me show you kind of how it looks so far. It needs a lot of things. Like right now, it still says CTK up here at the top. It doesn't even have an app name yet or anything like that. CTK stands for Custom TK Inter, which is a Python package for making graphic user interfaces. And this one makes ones that are a little nicer, I think, than the standard TK Inter ones, although those ones are perfectly fine. But let's take a little look. So when you first load up, you get this this screen right here. And the first thing you'll do is you just pick a faction that you want. So we'll pick Battle Sisters because they're right here. And you pick the size of the battle you want. I eventually will try to implement custom size support and combat patrol, things like that. But right now it's just the 3 baseline sizes, so we're just barely getting off the ground. So let's pick the typical 2,000 point, and then you just load army. Now what that does is that then gives you these drop downs. Now initially they're blank, which it doesn't look that great, but once you pick one thing, they load right up, and you have everything split out into the 5 categories that exist now. Now, I don't have allies implemented yet. That's going to be a whole nother level of logic and implementation. And like I said, I'm still learning this. The logic is not actually that hard, but sometimes the interactions of the Python and the syntax, that's the part that's kind of getting me. And yes, I know Python's an easier language, but it still has plenty of its little pitfalls that you have to be very careful of, especially with the types of variables and converting stuff back and forth between numbers and all that, and text, things like that. For example, these names that you see here, these are all just text strings. Now, the way under the hood, what's going on is that if you're a Python programmer or anything about it, each unit is a tuple of some values that pertain to the unit. The important ones like how many points it is, and whether or not it's an epic hero character, battle line. There are other things I need to add to it. Right now, everything is minimum size units. There's no way to adjust it, and there's no way to do any war gear yet. But you can load up appropriately categorized units. And then you just click the button for the category you want, and you populate whichever unit is over here. Now, this is pretty much as far as we've got. Now, if you want more, you can... whoops, did I get to... Oh, I think I double-clicked it there. Yeah, there's that. Just found another bug. It's doubling up there. Okay. We're going to have to work on... I'm debugging right here in front of you guys. See how you get 2 of them on the second click? Because it's still got the data from the first one. That's what I mean by Python pitfalls. But and it needs to be. These are not on the right side. These are not going to be text strings in the long run. These are going to be become buttons or drop down lists, and then there will be seconds so you can remove units back out, which you can't do yet. We need the next thing coming up along with clearing up this issue of doubling the unit add, and I bet you it'll be, yeah, see now it's triple on the third one. There's a problem. It's adding one every time. So we need to clear that up. These are the kind of pitfalls, by the way, if you're not a programmer, that you run into writing things like this. So like writing even simple programs can sometimes be a little bit more tricky than you think, especially if you're not experienced. Over on this side, expand this out a little bit. I need to work on a lot of adjusting the size of the windows and all that. This is where you're going to be eventually able to manipulate the unit. You're going to be able to adjust the number of models, of course, and you also have a total points tally. We'll implement error checking, all the basic features, and eventually war gear. When I first, though, put it out for alpha testing or let people use it, though, it is probably not going to have anything other than being able to make a list that goes up to the points total, and will check that you don't have too many of the same list and don't have too many of the same unit. No duplicated heroes, no more than 6 battle lines, or 3 of anything else. Well, transports are also 6. And it'll just check your points total and whether you've got too many units. And then you'll be responsible for, so it'll be more of a calculator than anything else. Now, I know that there are Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that that can do that, but the idea is to build a framework that more features can be added to in later versions. And that's why I have no plans at this time to release it as any kind of a paid thing. I may even just put it out there on GitHub and let people have the code. I'm not showing it right now, because I do want to have it be my project and be fully actually working at least to a minimum level before I put the code out there for use, depending on what route I eventually go. But we'll have all those features before too long, because honestly, this is going way faster than I thought. You may recall I've been on vacation, so I hadn't really worked on this in 2 weeks, and prior to that, I'd worked on it for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I'd gotten about 90% of what you see here. The splitting out the units in the list on the right just got done. That used to just be one single text list, and it wasn't split into 5 different categories when you put it in the army list. The next things coming up will be points totaling and making these the units that are added to the army actually look somewhat presentable, and then we'll start turning them into interactive GUI elements themselves, so that you can adjust the war gear, or even just take them back out of the army. Now, one thing that is implemented, though, is this, at least partly, is if we go back and we decide, we don't want to do battle sisters, we want to do Tau. Select, load army. Okay. Now, there's still a little bit I need to do on here. Morphin Vol doesn't clear out, because it doesn't actually clear the user interface out, but it will get rid of these. And it does successfully switch to the other army and clears, so you can't add any more sisters. Well, you probably could have the ones that were still on top. So there's a little work that needs to be done on that, but we can get, now notice it's not clearing over here, so there's still more work that needs to be done. But we're starting to get together some of the basics, like the abilities to switch armies midstream. You notice there's no pull-down menu yet, so there's no way to save anything yet, and that's on the back burner because there's no point in saving what you see here on the right just yet, so I will work on that later. I don't think that's going to need to be too I don't think that's going to be too difficult. Oh, now I noticed something else up here at the top. We're supposed to tell you the name. We need to destroy the old label before we add the new label up there. So anyhow, that's where we're at. Probably give you another update on where it's at in about a month. And I hope to have something that is at least useful to do a quick add-up of points without any significant errors before Christmas. One of the things that's also going to be very time-consuming is that I did download a whole bunch of JSON files with all the unit data in them, but as they are, they work for where it's at now, but there are things that are going to need to be significantly adjusted and modified in order to make this work properly. Also, I have to go through and manually change everything in all of the files that was changed in the errata, all points values. So far, I've only updated the points values for the balance pass for armies I own, and you do all the other ones, although that's not extensive. But that is altering the JSON files is going to be some work. There's also going to be some trickiness that I haven't worked out quite yet, which is how to differentiate Space Marines of different chapters, because that right now, if we look over here in factions, you'll see that the only thing we have is Space Marines. They are not differentiated by type yet. Eldari, there's going to need to be something to be done for Inari armies there. Allies, of course, need to be implemented. Allies are going to be not that difficult. Oh, I have 2,000 sons. Why is that? I didn't even notice that. This has been like this for a while. I got to dig in there and look at that. So, just making this video is helping me debug this thing. And the was the other thing that was going to need a little bit of work. Some of the unit size stuff is going to be a little bit tricky. Like there's going to be nitnoid ones like the Death Guard Plague Marines, where you can have 5, 7, or 10 in unit rather than the normal minimum or maximum size units like most other things are at. The same thing is that's going to be an issue for custodies as well. I am a little bit leery right now, though, of working on that, because we need to see how codexes are going to be. If points are still going to be with fixed unit sizes, where it's, say, with Sororitas, it's always going to be a squad of 10 Battle Sisters, or maybe it's going to be a few fixed sizes, that's going to require a different approach than having units cost by model, because what I don't want to do is make it so that it will spit out illegal totals. For example, it's perfectly legal to take, say, 7 Custodian Guard, but that's cost the same as 9 Custodian Guard. So I can't do it on a points per model basis without some way of correcting that, unless they change things with the codexes. So some of this stuff will also just be a little bit of wait and see. Anyhow, that's the status. That's where we're at right now. So please, once I get this out there, please feel free to download it and check it out for yourself and see how you like it. It's going to be a little bit, but I will keep everybody updated. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment down below, and click the notifications bell for more great comments from Wilderness Wargaming. And we will see you back here very soon. Bye-bye.